Oslo messaging RPC API. So this is the OpenStack documentation about Oslo messaging. So here you can see the OpenStack documentation about this Oslo messaging system. The Oslo messaging API supports RPC and notification over a number of different messaging transports. These are the main components of Oslo messaging system: transport, executors, target, RPC server, and RPC client. Transport. So this is an example of how to create a transport object. So it's the first line. You can see import oslo.config, then import Oslo messaging, then these are the credentials required to connect to RabbitMQ host, the Rabbit server IP of RabbitMQ server, then port number, username and password. Then that configuration are passing to this Oslo messaging dot get transport object. So we get a transport object. So actually this transport is an connection to the RabbitMQ server. Then executors. So executors will take incoming messages and then dispatch to the proper location, so that the message can be used for meaningful work. Target. A target encapsulates all the information to identify where a message should be sent or what messages a server is listening for. So here you can see the first one. This is target setup for creating a server. So if you want to set up a target for your RPC server, you have to specify topic, server. These two are required. Then the exchange, that is optional. So here you can see an example: Oslo messaging dot target. So this is the name of the topic. Then this is the IP address of the server. So this server is listening to this topic. Then the endpoints target. So in that case you have to specify namespace and version, but that is optional. Then if you want to set up a target for your client to send message, in that case you have to specify only the topic. So this is a target for the client. So this one is the target for the server. In this case you have to specify the topic and the server. In this case you need to specify only the topic. Here you can also specify the server. In that case the client will send the message only to that server. Otherwise it will send to one of the server. Then RPC server. An RPC server exposes a number of endpoints, each of which contain a set of methods which may be invoked remotely by a client over a given transport. To create a RPC server, you supply a transport. You supply the transport, which means connection, then the target and list of endpoints. So these three information we need to pass to create a RPC server. So here you can see an example. So here you can see the transport, created one transport using the configuration, then one target. So here I specify the topic, then a server. So this server is listening to this topic, then the endpoint. See here you can see the one endpoint class, then one method. So this method, the method name test underscore method 1. This method, the client can invoke this method. So then here you can see I created a endpoints list. Here you can, so in this list you can append multiple endpoint classes. Then this is the create RPC server, oslo.messaging get RPC server. So here we need to pass the transport, then the target, then the endpoints, then the executor. After that you can do this server dot start, stop, wait. Those things I will show in the demo. Then RPC client. The RPC client class is responsible for sending method invocations to a remote server via messaging transport. Okay. A method invocation consists of a number of consists of a request context dictionary, a method name, and a dictionary of argument. There is two type of invocation, a cast invocation and a call invocation. The cast invocation just send the request and return immediately, but the call invocation waits for the server to send a return value. Okay, so like the RPC server setup, here also you need to create a transport, the connection to the RPC RabbitMQ server, then the target. Here I specified only the topic. If you want to send a message to a particular server, particular RPC server, you can specify the server here. Then here you can see the here creating the update of RPC client. So you need to pass transport and target. Okay, then you will get a client object. Then invoke the remote method. So we have two way of invocation we can use. One is the call, other one is the cast. If you use call, it will wait for the reply. If you use cast, it will return immediately. It will not wait for the reply. So these the two things I will show in the demo. So this is the demo setup. So I have 4 virtual machines I created. One for RabbitMQ server, then one for RPC server 1, another one for RPC server 2, another one for RPC client. So these are the IP of the machines which I created. So here you can see I created 4 virtual machines. Okay. So here you can see I opened the terminal for each virtual machine. So here I can see RPC server 1, RPC server 2, here RabbitMQ server, then RPC client. Okay. First let me go to our RabbitMQ server. So here there's a couple of commands. If you want to restart the RabbitMQ server, you can use this command like sudo restart. Then if you want to list the queues, you can use sudo rabbitmqctl list queues. Sudo rabbitmqctl list queues. List underscore queues. So there is no queues right now, it's empty. Okay. Let me move to the RPC server. So this is the RPC server code. So here I specified the IP address of the RabbitMQ server and port number, guest, username and password. Then transport object, then target. So in target I specified a topic and server name. Then the endpoint. So in this endpoint class I defined 2 methods, test method 1 and test method 2. So it will return one simple message like this: result from test method 1 plus the argument which the client passing. Then does create RPC server. So then server dot start. So let me execute this code. So server code, let me copy this and put it in the server one, this here. See, before that I need to set 2, right? Okay. So before that, here I already created a virtual environment. Let me source it. So in this virtual environment, I installed the Oslo messaging and oslo.config with all dependencies. I already done that, so I can use it. So here I am going to copy paste that code. The configuration, then so this just print the configurations, so I can show it. Let me scroll down. So this is the configuration. Then create a transport, then the target. So one more thing I missed. I think this should be 101. This is here we have to specify the IP of the RabbitMQ server. This is a RabbitMQ server. The IP is 101, right? So I have to make it correct. Okay. Then create the transport. Okay. Then create the target. So here I need to change the IP of the server. Here I need to specify 192.168.56.102, this IP. Topic is test me. Okay, target is created. Then create the endpoint class. Okay, this class has two methods, test method 1 and test method 2. Then create the endpoint list. Okay. Then create the RPC server. Okay. So if you check down at this point, list queues not created yet. So if you do server.start, that will create the queues. See, so it started. So let me check here. List queues. See, me grep test me. So it's created 3 queues. Okay. So server RPC server 1 is ready. And server 1 is listening. Okay. Then let me set up RPC server 2. Same way. Copy this. Here also I need to activate this environment. where I installed the Oslo messaging and config module. Then go to the Python console and copy paste. Here I need to change, this is wrong configuration, I need to change this. So I will put the correct IP address of the RabbitMQ server. So 101. Okay. Then create the transport. Then create a target. So here I need to give this is server 2. So the IP of server 2 is 103. 192.168.56.103. Okay, target is okay. Then create the endpoint class and endpoint list. Okay, then create a server. Okay, server is ready. So let me check the queues again. Okay, then to the server dot start. Okay, RPC server 2 is ready. Let me check the queues. So it's created 2 more queues, this one and one Fanout, this one, these two. Okay, so our RPC servers are ready and RabbitMQ server is also working fine. Let me move to the client. Here also first I need to enable the virtual environment. Go to the Python console. Okay, okay, in RPC client let me copy paste this thing here. Okay, these are import, then these are the config. So this is the IP address of RabbitMQ server, this one. Then create a transport, that means connection to the RabbitMQ server. So the client and server should able to communicate to the RabbitMQ server. Then create a target. So here in this target I am giving only that name of the topic. Test me, this is the name of the topic. Then create the client object. Okay, then we can do client.call or client.cast. The client.call will wait for the reply from the RPC server. Okay, so in this call we need to pass one context. So in this case I am passing an empty dictionary, then what some argument, so I am giving some string. Let me copy this. So this is a call request, so the client will wait for the reply from the server. So before that, let me, so here to start, you can see the reply is coming from which server, that you can see here. Let me paste it here, enter. See, from the RPC server 1, the request is taken by RPC server 1 and the client got the reply. So this time RPC server 2 taken the client request, so that will change. See, the server will take the change. Let me invoke the test method 2. So you can see, so if you want to, this is a call. Let me check the cast. If you do the cast, the client will not wait for the reply. See, client will return immediately. But see, in the server you can see the server taking the request. That's the difference between cast and call. Okay, so if you want to send a request to one particular server, for example here RPC server 1 and RPC server 2, I want to send a client request only to the RPC server 1. So how to do that? If you want to send the request in that to that particular server, what you have to do is here in the target you can specify it. The target you have to specify server equal to 192.168.56.102. Then create the client object. Then do the client.call. Let me change the argument, otherwise Python. See, request is going to have a server 1. So this way you can specify the server which we want to handle the request from the client. See, okay, if you want to send it to the server 2, you can specify create the target again, modify the target, then create the client object, then send the message for the OpenStack. See, so this way you can send the message to a particular server. So you can also use the cast. See, okay, then that is a colon cast. Client send request to specific server that I already explained. Client send request to one of the server in round robin fashion. This also I explained. So that is, we don't need to specify the server. In that case, client will send the request to one of the server in a round robin fashion. The next one is the next and last one is the Fanout. What is Fanout will do? A client will send the request to client will send request to all the servers. What we need to do is we need to remove the server name from the target and create the client object. Here we need to specify Fanout is equal to true. It's not in RPC client. Let me check here. Sorry. Maybe that's in target. Yes, it's in target only. Okay. So modify the target, and here you have to specify Fanout is equal to true. Then create the client object. Then to the client.call. So you are specify different thing. For example, Oslo. So this will, sorry, something happened. Call cannot be used with Fanout. Okay, so we have to use cast. See, Oslo here, the server RPC server 1 and RPC server 2, both server we can see the message. That means the both server taking the request. So In the case of Fanout, we had to use only the cast. So let me check what happens if you specify the server here. So I specify the server in the target, then create the client, so then use the cast. So the same, it's ignoring the server. So this time also it's sending the request. The both server are taking the request. We try the call. No, we had to use the cast. Otherwise make it to false. Now the message will go to only this 102 here. See, okay. So I need to modify this part. So this I need to put here. Okay. RPC colon cast. This I already explained. Client send request to specific server. Client send request to one of servers in a round robin fashion. Then client send request to all the servers. That is to find out. So this part I need to change. I have to put it here. Okay.